2022, we had 9 Kriyas. Today is the 10th Kriya. This is the first Kriya in this new year. So a very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Nithya Kriya. I'm from Kailasa, Singapore. Today we have very, very exciting Kriya. Actually, I'm very excited because it's one Kriya that I think everybody needs, okay? It's basically cure for post-traumatic stress disorder. You probably think that, oh, only people who experience like some big trauma in life that they need this Kriya. I said, no, it's for everybody. So today is 11th of January, 2023. Welcome to today's session. So before we start the Kriya, I'd like all of you to take a few minutes to center ourselves before we enter into the outline of the session and also giving you the intellectual knowledge about post-traumatic stress disorder. So I'm learning about this so-called disorder, the psychological disorder, and then we enter into the Kriya. Okay, so now let us all sit with the back straight, align the whole head, neck, and spine in one straight line. Settle yourself in this body awareness from head to the toes, your fingertips. Feel the boundary of your skin. The boundary where the skin ends is your physical body. And then connect with your breath awareness by inhaling very slowly and deeply. Enter into a gap, a little pause, and exhale slowly and completely. And then the second gap. So continue to breathe in this fashion for a few minutes to rein yourself back into the present moment, as well as to integrate this body and mind to the space of now. Deep inhalation and slow exhalation. Experience this expanded awareness. Enter into the space of Shravana, listening, authentic listening. Ready to receive what Swamiji has to impart in this session. In that restful awareness, shall we enter into the Sadguru Vandana, invoking Swamiji by chanting the mantra? So fold your arms in Amanjali Mudra and put it on your heart center, Anahata Chakra. Let's all invoke him by chanting the Sadguru Vandana. Take a deep breath. Nithyananda Paramasukaram Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Satrisham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Savvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarhitam Sadguruntam Namami. Followed by 3 Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. So give our gratitude to Swamiji for this beautiful Nithya Kriya. Now, a warm welcome to those of you who just joined. Once again, we're live now on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, right? Yeah. So I welcome all the people who are joining me here in Singapore Ardino. And then also we have friends from Zoom, from different parts of the world, and of course, the social media. So welcome to Nithya Kriya, the 10th session for this whole series. And today we're going to have a very, very fascinating Kriya. It's called Cure for Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. The short form is called PTSD. It is a commonly known disorder in the psychiatric industry. So it's a recognized disorder. So let's find out more about this. Next slide. So in today's session, I'm going to quickly recap what is Nithya Kriya, especially for people who are attending for the first time. It is good to understand what is Nithya Kriya, and then what you need to know about this disorder. I will give you a more understanding from the basically the information from a hospital. Okay, and then we will go into the Shastra Pramana for Nithya Kriya, and then introduction to this Kriya itself, the cure for PTSD. And then, of course, we'll be guided together. We'll be doing it together. And finally, we'll have sharing. Okay. So next slide. So a very quick recap on what is Nithya Kriya. So Nithya Kriya is a unique set of healing processes with knowledge and techniques drawn from the most authentic sacred yogic scriptures of Hinduism, with specific combination of compiled and expressed from the personal experience of His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, whom we fondly call him as Swamiji, my Guru. Okay, so he gifted this 108 Nithya Kriyas in 2011. I think this is one of the most powerful, I would call it yogic techniques for healing and also balancing the body. So Nithya Kriya is a soundly anchored on sacred yogic scriptures like Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Giranda Samhita, and Shiva Samhita. So these are the references of some of the breathing techniques and asanas. Next slide. So Nithya Kriya encompasses 5 components. Just to recap, this healing is achieved by, achieved by the Nithya Kriya is please understand it's permanent. It's not like, oh, you do today, okay, then after that you come back. No, it's permanent because it works on the cellular bioenergy level, biomemory level. So it generates natural steroid, and therefore there's no side effect because everything is generated internally through the body, through the breathing and the asanas and some of the components added, like for instance, breath, the breathing technique, pranayama and kumbhaka, and visualization. Certain Kriya has got visualization component, and yoga asanas, it means body movement, because each Kriya you'll be seated in at least one yoga asanas. And what Swamiji said that each yoga asana means that it's a reflection of certain consciousness. Okay, it's a reflection of consciousness. So how you posture yourself matters, because your body is like a mirror. When you posture yourself correctly, you will just reflect the cosmic light. Then you have sound also, like for mantra, which is sound created inside. So sometimes there's sound inside, and sometimes there'll be sound outside, like music or some kind of vibration. So these are the 5 components. And understand, besides healing, tremendous healing, the Nithya Kriyas have a very powerful permanent effect on your very brain function. Because what happens is, each Kriya awakens a Kundalini Shakti, which means your inner potential energy. So when the Kundalini Shakti is awakened, it rewires the whole brain. Your brain will be infused with chemicals, and certain part of the brain gets awakened. So that is one of the most powerful experience that you have when the Kundalini energy gets awakened through the alignment of the posture, through the breathing, to the kumbhaka, the sound, everything working together in unison. So that is kind of the uniqueness of Nithya Kriya. Understand, Swamiji? All the Kriya Swamiji has personally tested on his body before he released to the world, which means what? He personally work on his body to understand the effect of different Kriyas or different techniques given in each Kriya. So understand this has been tested by Swamiji. All right, so now let's enter into the next important part, which is what do you need to know about PTSD, basically post-traumatic stress disorder, okay? In short, it's PTSD. Next slide. So basically, this disorder, or this is an anxiety disorder or mental disorder caused by very stressful, frightening, or distressing events in one's life, such as like you experience road accident, like shake the whole body and and you suffer from some injury, for instance, or very violent personal assault. Somebody attacked you, somebody bully you. It can be anything. It could be a sexual assault, it could be a robbery, it could be a mugging, any kind of physical assault, okay? And also serious health problems like going through certain chronic diseases, which could be a cancer, could be anything that you're suffering, okay? So then also like childbirth experiences. These are just a fraction of what we call as traumatic, experience or traumatic incident that happened in one's life. Of course, there can be many kind of traumas that one can experience, but essentially is, I would say that everyone in our life experiences certain traumas. It could be small traumas, or it could be very scary, deadly traumas. But in any case, which means your whole being is shaken. Okay. See, this is one thing I feel. If we have never experienced trauma, this mind would have never been formed. See, when we're born, if you understand from the completion science of completion, Purnatva, when we were born as a child, we live in the pure space of awareness. We were in that pure awareness. That's why we never remember what happens in the first few years of our life. But then something happened, some kind of incident happened. It can be some traumatizing experiences, or it could be as simple as, you didn't get your cake, or didn't get, your mom didn't buy you something. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is how you perceive life and perceive yourself. That determines whether, how you form your root pattern, right? So to me, anyone who had experienced root pattern, if you haven't completed a root pattern, you have that, tendency for the PTSD, because when you let the space, you would have been shaken. Do you understand? Sometimes you would have been shaken. Like for instance, as a child, you were deprived of, let's say, your milk, or you're not even fed properly, and it's like a basic survival needs, and you're being denied from having food. So this can be traumatizing for a young child or a baby. So when that kind of experience is, given at a very young age, it can be very traumatizing. So that's why I say this Kriya is actually good for everyone. It's not just for people who are really gone through certain life-threatening traumas. Then they should practice this, okay? So someone with this disorder, wait, I haven't finished, go back to the slide. Someone with this disorder often relieves these traumatic events through the nightmares or flashback. They will remember like flashbacks, or be shaken by the nightmares, and may experience feeling of fear, isolation, irritability, and guilt, okay? Because of the traumas. They may also have problems sleeping, so they may have insomnia, and they may find they may have difficulty in concentrating. They may not able to focus in doing what they need to do in the outer world. So these symptoms actually can be quite severe or persistent enough to have a significant impact on the person's daily life. That means the person's daily life is not able to function. It's not able to function like normal in the outer world. And that can be very, very, what you call that, distressing for the person. That means totally dysfunctional. So if you have this kind of symptoms, you see people having these symptoms, be very clear, we need to work on not only just completion of this traumas, but also do something to reprogram the muscle memory and the biomemory. So this is whatever you're going to see from the next few slides. They are taken from NHS England, which is a hospital in England, who diagnose all kinds of disorder. Okay, next slide. So let's continue. So re-experiencing is the most typical symptoms of this disorder, PTSD disorder, because the memory of that trauma stay inside you because you're not able to complete with that memory. It becomes like a haunting memory that stay inside you, a negative haunting memory, and you get replay all the time. Okay, so you feel like you're re-experiencing this again and again. So this is when a person involuntarily or vividly relieves the traumatic experience or event in the form of flashback, nightmares, repetitive and distressing images or sensation. Because sometimes the traumas can record or imprint certain muscle memory during that time. So the muscle memory is again triggered by something similar, okay? And physical sensations such as pain, sweating, feeling sick, like nauseous and trembling, shivering. So all these symptomatic of, the flashback or remembrance of that trauma. So, which makes them totally powerless, okay? Totally powerless and not able to hold themselves so that they can continue what they need to do. So some people have constant negative thoughts about their experience and repeatedly asking themselves questions that prevent them coming to terms with the event. So that means because these traumas leaves an imprint inside, they're not able to complete with it. So the traumas replay itself in their life. So for instance, they may wonder why the event happened to them and if they could have done anything to stop it, which can lead to a feeling of guilt or shame, okay? Which, see, guilt and shame is a mental torture. It's like a mental health. So when you have, a traumas that lead to guilt or shame, be very clear, you will lead to a lot of mental health, which eventually trigger a disturbance in the mind and disturbance in the body. So if the mind is disturbed, as you know that, somebody did say that majority of the diseases are psychosomatic, which means it started from the mind, a disturbed mind, okay? So to address these symptoms, you need to go back to addressing, the disturbed mind, not the body. Okay, next slide. So there are people who try to avoid the traumas. They run away or they create emotional numbing. They try to be, basically numb themselves so that they want to stop suffering. So trying to avoid being reminded of the traumatic experience is another key symptom of this disorder. Someone tried to avoid, but the avoidance is not going to help because unless you complete with it, the avoidance is just only create more perversion. Okay, so don't try to avoid. It happened, bring acceptance and completion to that. So this usually, means avoiding certain people, places that remind you of the traumas, avoiding talking to anyone about your experiences. So it's like trying to shut down, trying to sweep it under the carpet is not going to work. Okay, so this is just a strategy that is going to, defeat, you're going to be defeated, is not going to work. And many people with this kind of syndrome or the symptoms, this disorder, try to push memory of the event out of their mind. Like they try to distract themselves by doing other things, whether it's some kind of addiction, some kind of entertainment, some kind of hobbies. But once they settle down after doing the, let's say, destructive activities, the thing will flash back, because until the memory leave your system, until you complete with the memory, you will bound to again be triggered, because it's there inside of you, in your muscle memory and your bio memory. Okay, so there's no question of running away or trying to distract yourself through different forms of entertainment. And some people, because they try to entertain themselves with different distraction, they leads them to addiction. How they get addicted to certain things is because of trying to escape from life. When life shows you something, you need to face what life is showing you. It means you need to bring completion to this part of your past. But instead of trying to do that, they ran away. They try to avoid it. They try to numb themselves by doing all kinds of things to their body or their mind. So some of them even resort to self-harming, like cutting themselves. Because when they feel the pain, the pain will be so intense that they can forget about this trauma. I've seen people like that. Some of them try to go into addiction, like drugs. They make them into a certain state of unconsciousness, like keep them high. When they keep them high, they can just be happy and not remember these traumas. So, which is temporarily, is not going to solve the problem. And you know that when you indulge in substance abuse that lead you to low consciousness, is going to come back in as a form of destruction to the body and the mind, right? Understand, like substance abuse. Because all this substance abuse, like alcohol, drugs, all this have permanent effect on your body. It's just like a slow way to death. So don't even try to go that path of using substance abuse to numb yourself emotionally, okay? Or try to get to a psychological high, which makes you forget about this traumatic experience. This can lead to a person becoming isolated and withdrawn, because post that incident, they feel guilty and they feel that they shouldn't have done it. But again, they fall into that guilt trip and they withdraw themselves from, outside world, outer world. And they may eventually give up pursuing activities they used to enjoy, which means they become depressed. Depression can happen because of the fact that when you keep doing this recurring, repeatedly, what happened is you keep falling into that guilt trip, depression, guilt trip. So it becomes like a looping. It's like a vicious cycle. You trap yourself and you're not able to get out. When you don't do the distraction, you feel horrible. When you do the distraction thing, like substance abuse, after that you feel horrible. So you're now caught in this vicious cycle of abusing yourself. Next slide. After a prolonged avoidance and, these symptoms can result in so-called hyperarousal. They call feeling on edge, which means like people with this disorder may become very anxious because they're not able to handle themselves in a calm way. So the anxiety would trigger certain, we call arousal of the emotion, like irritability. They become very irritable easily. And anger outbursts, they just burst like a volcano, explosion of volcano, which is uncontrollable, okay? And then obviously sleep problem and difficulty in concentrating. So these are some of the, side effects when this is not addressed. So next slide. Another problem that can be caused by this disorder is like a number of other problems, including mental health problem like depression, like I mentioned earlier, anxiety attacks, and phobias like fear. A lot of phobias for things that you might find illogical. Like there was one example which Swamiji gave in the completion session. He said that there's one boy who went to the beach when he was 5 years old with a father for evening walk. And then unfortunately in the evening walk on the beach, he witnessed someone got murdered, someone got killed. So obviously for a 5-year-old to witness a murder, it's not that he got killed, but he saw something which is too frightening for a 5-year-old. And that gave him a traumatic experience. And for like 40 years, he's already 45, and he has never stepped onto a beach because every time, going to a beach will remind him of this traumatic experience of the murder when he witnessed at 5-year-old. So the root incident is murder on the beach, and the incompletion is that trigger is fear of beach, right? He becomes so scared of beach. And then the pattern that developed after that fear is he will go into this uncontrollable trembling, shivering. Whenever, if he's nearby a beach or someone even mentioned that going on the beach, he would just, the whole muscle memory or the whole mind would just suddenly remember the flashback of this murder on the beach. And then he will go into this spasm of the body not able to control in anxiety. So basically these are problems that can trigger if that issue is not addressed, that the traumatic experience is not completed or addressed. Okay, and some of them may even experience other physical problem because of the disturbed mind, like headaches, like migraines, dizziness, like feeling giddy, and because of the too much of the stimulation. And then chest pain, like feeling not out of breath, not able to breathe, like contraction of the chest and the lungs, so it creates certain chest pain. And stomach aches, like because of the anxiety, the stress, it triggers a disturbance in the digestive system. So all these systems get affected because of the disturbed mind, because your physiological functions of your body get disturbed by your mental disturbance. Okay, so in short, post-traumatic stress disorder sometimes lead to work-related problems and the breakdown of relationship. When this is not addressed, it can lead to the next layer of outer world problem, that you can't have a proper relationship because of your irritability, your anger. You're not able to handle yourself, so relationship is going to be affected. And of course, you're in a relationship affected, you can't even concentrate on the work, so your work is going to also suffer. So these are kind of like, a series of problems created by having a disorder like post-traumatic stress disorder. So understand, if you recognize people having this problem, they need help. They need help. Okay. So next slide. So, and even there are growing number of children having these symptoms or this disorder, because children as well as adults can be affected by this disorder. They can have similar symptoms like adults, and kids normally, because they are not able to articulate, they are not able to express properly. Some kids are much more withdrawn. They have problems sleeping, they have nightmares, they'll be waking up screaming. So, children with this kind of symptom may also lose interest in activities they used to enjoy, like playing, and they have, the social skill will be affected. That means they become withdrawn. They don't like to mix around. They just want to be alone. And they also may experience symptoms like stomach ache and headaches and sickness. So other symptoms you may notice in children with this kind of disorder include difficult behavior. That means screaming, throwing tantrums, not able to control the emotion, anger, and then or emotional outburst. Avoiding things related to the traumatic experience, they try to run away from things that remind them of this experience, or reenacting the traumatic event again and again through their play. That means they try to do the same thing again in the play. If you observe some kids when they play, they may enact again this kind of event when they're playing. Okay, so next slide. So any questions so far about this post-traumatic stress disorder before we enter into the Shastra Pramana and then finally the Kriya itself? Any questions so far? If you have a question, you can type on the chat. No questions? Let me see. Okay, so in that case, let's enter into the Shastra Pramana. Okay, so this Shastra Pramana is taken from Yoga, Chundamani Upanishad, verse 116. So which is a Shastra Pramana for Kriyas of Pranayama. So for him who is possessed of Pranayama, there will be the destruction of all diseases. Okay, for those devoid of Pranayama, the breathing, there will be the generation of all diseases. So that is a Shastra Pramana. Let's enter into the next slide. So we're going to go through the instruction first. Okay, so next slide. So basically, this Kriya is quite short, only 4 steps, which is quite easy to practice. And the first, are you all ready now to go into the Kriya? So let me just briefly mention what are the 4 steps, and we'll practice it together. Okay, 4 steps. The first is asana, which is Durvasa asana, which is what you can see. And then the second step is Dhyana Kumbhaka. And then the third step is Naga Kumbhaka. And the 4th step is Agni Soma Kumbhaka. So there are 3 Kumbhakas, breathing technique for this Kriya. Okay, so let's enter into the first step. All of you, please come seated now in Durvasa asana. So basically, sit on the floor, bend your right leg. Okay, bend the right knee and sit it on the right ankle, and put the foot by the left side of the hip. So this one will be at the left side of the hip. Okay. So bring the left foot across to the right thigh, so that the left foot is placed near the right side of the hip. Okay. So now, with the fingers on the right hands on the fingertips, touching the middle joint. Okay, touching the middle joint. With the knuckles on the left. So basically, the right hand fingertips that touch the middle joint of the left hand knuckles. Okay, you can see how the model is doing. The right hand fingertips, okay, touching the left hand knuckles, right? Like this. Right hand fingertips touching. No, it's not interlaced. You see, with the right hand fingertips, right hand, touch the middle joint of the left hand knuckles here. Okay, then place it on top of your genital, on top of your lower body. Okay, fix the gaze at the eyebrow center, your third eye region. Okay, sit in this posture for like say 30 seconds. Let's start now. This is a preparation to enter into the Kriya. Okay. Just breathe slowly and normally, with the awareness on the third eye. breathe. All right, relax. Let's enter into the second step now. Second step, next slide. It's called Dhyana Kumbhaka, which is taken from Kumbhaka Parati, verse 66. So let me just give the translation. So completely filling the chest and contracting the whole body during Kumbhaka, with subtle contraction is termed as Dhyana Kumbhaka by Devi Parvati. So this technique is given by Devi Parvati. So listen to the step. So you're going to inhale deeply, hold the breath and contract the whole body, like feel the body shrinking. Have an intense awareness and visualize the whole body, and the whole body is contracting, the abdomen, the throat, the chest, the back, the whole body is like shrinking. When you cannot hold the breath anymore, then exhale slowly through both nostrils. Got it? So we're going to do this step for 21 times. Are you all ready? So now, just inhale slowly through both nostrils. Retain the breath and start putting intense awareness to contract the body. Don't breathe out yet. Till you can't hold anymore, exhale through the nostril. This is round 1. Please do another 20 rounds at your own pace, okay? So visualize the body is contracting. You can use your fingers to count. Make sure you do 21 times. This Kumbhaka will awaken your Kundalini Shakti, so during the contraction. So those of you who finished can show a thumbs up. Okay, so the people online are already pretty much finished. We're waiting for friends here. You realize when you start holding the breath and contract, it just trigger the awakening of the Kundalini Shakti. Finish? You finish? Continue. Those who haven't finished, please continue. So those who finish, you just sit in restful awareness in the same posture, because the Dvavasa asana is the asana to assume throughout the whole Kriya. Okay? So try to feel comfortable sitting in this posture. You'll feel like after 21 rounds of this Kumbhaka, the body is feeling light and you just want to close your eyes and in that restful awareness. So stay in there while we wait for the rest to finish. How many more to go? Parameshwari, can you take a screenshot of the Zoom room?
Later, because now I only show the Singapore. I didn't.
Maybe do it later. Okay, done. Let's enter to the next third step. Okay, so this step is called Naga Kumbhaka. Okay, it was taken from Kumbhaka Parati as well, but verse 77 and 78. So the translation goes, one should feel the air slowly into the throat, like swallowing a morsel of rice, and should retain it for maximum possible time with firm application of Jaranta Bandha, which is throat lock. Okay, and then one should exhale it through the throat. This is called Naga Kumbhaka, as explained by Shiva. By this practice, one is able to win over hunger and thirst. Sounds good. So let's get into the steps now. So you basically still in the same Dvavasa asana, and you're going to now inhale slowly, fully, like swallowing the air. Like you're eating rice, morsel of rice, but inhaling. When you're full, put the chin down, lock the chin. Hold as long as possible in this posture, then release. When you can't hold anymore, exhale through the nose from the throat. Because you lock it, you exhale through the nose, feel the air coming from the throat. Okay, got it now? So do it 21 times. You can use the finger to count. Start. All right, those who finish, we just wait for the rest. The third step is called Nada Kumbhaka, given by Shiva, from Shiva Samhita. Nada is it's a snake, the serpent. That's why you're using the mouth to breathe in. Very powerful technique. I'm now in samadhi. Too much energy. Finish. All the people in the Zoom, give me a thumbs up. You're done. All done? Oh, I think Rinzita is still doing the last video. Okay, all done on the Zoom. Here. Jerry Shadiga, when you hold the breath, just relax. Okay, don't need to feel stress. Just hold the breath and just relax. Okay. No need to be so. This part, no contracting. Just only holding the breath. Okay, you done already? Let's go to the last step. Come on. So Anisoma Kumbhaka. So this is taken from again Kumbhaka Parati, verse 87. It says, prana should be inhaled through the Surya Nadi, which is the right nostril. Right nostril is called the Surya Nadi. The left nostril is called the Chandra Nadi, the moon. So Surya, which is coincide with the male masculine side. The Chandra on the left nostril is coinciding with the feminine side. Okay, yin and yang. And after retaining the same as is prescribed, one should exhale through the other nostril. And again, inhale through the same side through which one was exhaled. It is known as Ani Soma Kumbhaka. So let's go through them. So still seated in Dvavasa Asana. So you need to use your hand. So fold your hand in Nashika Mudra. Okay, this one. Your index and middle finger is bent. Okay, so now, so you're going to inhale through the right nostril. So you close the left nostril to the ring finger. Inhale through the right. Close and retain the breath. Then exhale to the left. Open the left nostril. Exhale. Again, inhale to the left. Hold the breath inside judicially. Then exhale to the right. So this fourth step is considered one round. Do this step for 21 times. So inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Okay, continue at your own pace now. Make sure you finish 21 times. When you're done, just sit in any comfortable meditative posture in silence. So just sit in silence in an untouched space. when you're done. For a few minutes. Martha, make sure you can go to the last slide. If you want to stop sharing, you can take a picture of the Zoom participant. So those who finish, just sit for a few minutes in that silent space of restful awareness. And enjoy this space created after the Nithya Kriya cure for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. All right, relax. How was the Kriya? Very powerful Kriya. Oh my God. Even sitting on the door, Sanama couldn't get awakened already. But we started the Kumbhaka. So you want to share? Anyone want to share this? Hmm? Let me just see anyone online want to share. Adita, how was Kriya for you? Want to unmute yourself? How was it?
That was good. It was good. I managed to sit, which was good.
Yes. Actually, very simple Kriya. So
Yeah,
all of-
simple. Yeah.
all of you can practice anytime.
Are we supposed to change it?
No. You cannot, if you can't stay throughout the whole Kriya, you can change so that you're comfortable.
This other one,
It's okay. Do today one side, tomorrow do the other side. Oh. Okay, so everyone's happy. So this is a Kriya you can even teach other people if, let's say, they have this PTSD. I think the world needs a lot of healing. A lot of people who have traumas, especially nowadays, there's so much violence and cruelty, on planet Earth. So what they witness, how they experience it, can be quite disturbing, and which can leave like a permanent scar in the inner space or in the consciousness. So it's good to have powerful healing processes like Nithya Kriya, not only to cleanse in the master memory, but also the bio memory, which has been recorded unconsciously. So, this is one Kriya I think has got many possibility to reach out to more people. That's why I decided to choose this Kriya. Normally what I choose is like where everybody can practice. And it's not too long, not too difficult. So this is one very good Kriya that everybody can do. And it's very powerful because you would practice the first Kumbhaka, you already know, you're in Samadhi, like the whole system is settled and you're in a different zone. I'm still in that different zone. I'm just trying to talk. All right, so enjoy yourself. Give me a thumbs up if all of you enjoy this Kriya.
yes, maybe I can.
You want to share? Okay, great. Sharika got something to share. Go ahead.
Yeah, because before this, I'm actually quite stressed before I come here because it's like got a lot of things to accomplish. So I was a bit stressed, but just now after I finished, suddenly now I'm feeling good, But otherwise, these few days I was feeling very stressed.
So this totally remove your stress.
Yes.
See, that's why I say not only necessarily that you can practice this only when you're in that traumatic, stressful experience, but you can also practice it as part of, whenever you feel imbalanced, shaken. This is a good Kriya. So don't think that you need to have something horrible happening in your life, then you can start this Kriya.
Then the name suggests that.
No, because it's so powerful that it can handle all those traumatic experience. So that's why Swamiji said, see, and you need to know that this is a terminology the society understand, because it is, as you know, that like a lot of these disorders are given by the psychiatric industry, right? Which they will create some kind of disorder and give it a bombastic name so that you listen to them. But I think in Vedic tradition, we just say that the past is hangover, is sitting inside your present moment and disturbing your future. Disturbing your present moment and disturbing your future. So you need to do something about it. So besides completion with a hangover, but also doing some reading to reprogram everything. Because the more and more silence you experience with the Kundalini awakening, you will just rewire the whole brain. Not only that, it can cleanse the whatever old memory that you have imprinted. Because in the silent space, those memory will start to lose power over you. So over time, you'll come out of this traumatic disorder, stress disorder. So that is the whole science behind this Kriya. Okay. Any question? No question. Everybody's happy. Then we can end the session. Anyone want to share? Besides Jerry Shankar sharing. Anyone else want to share? From the Zoom? No? Everyone's okay? Okay, you can share it on the chat, that we always have, if you feel that You don't want to speak. You still want to be in that samadhi state. Sure. But you can share later on in the chat so that also can learn about your experience. So with that, let's finish off with the Purna mantra. Thank you, Swamiji. Let's join the palms together and chant the Purna mantra. Take a deep breath. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevamavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam Om Nithya. Thank you all for joining. Let's stop the sharing.